Now let's move on and talk about how fitness programming is both an art and a science. Now to start, it is both of these things. However, the ratio is not equal and not always the same, okay? It will be different amounts of either one at different times. Now, mastering fitness programming starts with learning and understanding anatomy and biomechanics and the proper form for all the different exercises and exercise variations for each muscle. That's why I'm going to be teaching you optimized exercise form and doing demonstrations for you early in the program, right after I introduce you to all the basics. So I should start with the scientific side and not the artistic side, all right? It all begins with learning and understanding anatomy and biomechanics. Then once you've learned about exercises, you can go from there to researching training studies to learn the evidence base of what works best. And then once a trainer has enough actual scientific knowledge under their belt to form a good knowledge base and knows how to train well, programming then becomes more and more of an art form. Now, some of you might be out there thinking, well, how can programming be about art at all? Isn't it all science? Well, no. Programming is an art form as well as a science because it involves things such as creativity, crafting, intellectualism, intuition, and constant editing and revisions and fine-tuning over long periods of time, as well as, for personal trainers, an intimate, customized individualization personal to each trainee. So for all of these reasons, fitness programming is in fact an art form as well as a science. Therein, being a good trainer requires a very specific intelligence type. That is a rare thing among athletes, and why most athletes are not doing their own programming and training themselves. Most of them have a good coach, okay? Because just because someone is a good athlete doesn't make them a good trainer. The ability to fully experience something is different than the ability to create that thing or teach that thing. Just as how there's this old saying, those who can't do, teach. Often those who can do things extremely well cannot actually teach what they are doing. Because the reason they're able to do it so incredibly well is because they were simply naturally built for it. So you'll find that a lot of people who are extremely muscular and or strong are so because they have really great genetics and enjoy the feeling of working out, so they start young and keep doing it consistently for a long period of time, thus eventually they get great results. That doesn't mean that they're going to be great trainers, teachers, or programmers though. So that's why there's a difference between the types of people who are the best fitness instructors and the people who are most athletic, who are winning the fitness competitions. All right, they are not the same people. And that's why you wouldn't want to just always get your advice from the most muscular person out there. Okay, just because they look like that doesn't mean they can teach you how to. But a good fitness instructor or programmer can, okay? And with good programming that is technical and creative, you can get as muscular and good looking as someone with good genes who has just been working out for 15 years, and you can do so in a fraction of the time, even if you have bad genes and health problems like me. Okay, and for those of you who are wondering, well, why wouldn't I just do what the most muscular person in the gym is doing? I mean, if that's what gets them that muscular, why wouldn't I just do that? Well, again, most of these people have been training for excessively long periods of time. They aren't that big because they were working out in the smartest way that got them that big in the shortest period of time. They're that big because they've been training since they were young, non-stop. All right, so you want to be able to do what they've done in 15 or sometimes 20 years in a fraction of the time. And also, many of these types of people are not the types who enjoy reading scientific literature so much as they enjoy doing. You know, they're more practical, physical people. They enjoy going to the gym and doing a workout, not necessarily reading and educating themselves on the science of fitness by combing through the scientific literature and different studies and such. So there's often some very important information that they are missing out on because of that. Many of these people are very stuck on old school ways, which are becoming obsolete as we learn more about the science of physiology and fitness, and not only what things will work optimally, but what things will actually pose an injury risk. So I see a lot of big guys doing things in an old school way that are causing harm to their bodies, which they shouldn't be teaching. But of course they are whenever someone asks them because they're the most muscular person around. So they're teaching people to do things that cause health problems, such as shoulder impingement, which is permanent, right? This is a very common example, okay? And this is why you shouldn't be learning from just any big guy lifting heavy weights at the gym, because most of these guys' bodies are going to be falling apart when they're in their 40s or 50s, and that should not be the ultimate end result of a lifetime of training. With proper programming, you should only be getting healthy healthier and healthier and healthier even as you get older. Okay, you should be healthy and strong and feel and look great well into your 50s, 60s, and even beyond. And another thing is that even many people who have gotten certified as trainers who may know anatomy and proper form do not know much about the science of training and programming beyond that. And also don't have an artistic or creative or intellectual mind for program design and long-term development. And that's because most trainers are not actually geared towards working with people long-term and helping them achieve really big goals, but simply just teaching them how to do exercises and walking them through simple exercise routines. And this is why it is so important to look for a trainer who has a highly scientific and artistic mind, who understands both of these sides of programming well, so that they can develop the right, individualized, personal, long-term program that is customized specifically to you and who you are and your goals, which is, of course, what I am here to do.